New.
Okay, good, good.
Yeah, kind of new. I have a LLC. It's like Lindsay Lopez Realty,
Nice.
but other than that, nothing too crazy.
Okay, great. I'm going to go ahead and share my screen and we can get started. Give me 1 second. All right. Okay, don't mind my slides today. Usually I take a lot of pride in my slides, and today they're not going to be as great. I really focused on the content more so today, so just bear with me. Let's see. All right, can everyone see my screen?
Yes.
Yes, yes. Okay, cool. Awesome. Okay, so personal branding. This is again a really fun topic. It's about creating identity and cohesion and your why in your brand. Whether you are an experienced top agent or if you're brand new to the industry, it really, really is important to brand yourself. And that is visual, and that is just knowing who your target market is, your client, right? Your voice, knowing your specialty. So just kind of that self-reflection, and that's really what we're going to be doing today. If you are able to write things down. If you're driving, don't, but if you're able to write things down, definitely grab a piece of paper and pen or open up like your notes app in your on your computer or phone and just kind of brainstorm with us during this class, okay? I want to hear from you guys in this class and we can just brainstorm live in the moment. If you feel comfortable sharing. Or at the end, I'm going to ask you to also send me your thought process so we can kind of go back and forth on that as well. Okay. So the course outline, what we're going to be covering is what a personal brand is and why it's so important in your business, how to identify and build a strong personal brand. We're going to be doing a SWOT analysis, what that is, and kind of what you can be doing on the back end to kind of map that out for your business, mapping out your target market, your digital presence and content strategy related to your brand. We're going to be looking at a couple other brands, and what makes them strong and just kind of seeing the cohesion and how they tell their story, creating your visual identity, and then monitoring and maintaining your personal brand, with kind of a step-by-step action plan of how to execute on your brand once you have that all mapped out. So the definition of a personal brand is the unique combination of skills and experience and personality that you want the world to see in you. So, in the forefront, it can seem a little bit frivolous, like, okay, what's my color going to be, right? Like there's so much more to your business than a color, right? I get that. Um, but it really is how you're presenting yourself to the world, the clients, and it really runs deep to how you communicate who you are. And that really, at the forefront, it should really just be authentic to you, right? We don't want to over analyze and draft like a story and a character, right? It really, like at the end of the day, it's kind of that self-reflection of what is the most authentic to you, who you attract, right? The clients you want to work with, and so forth. Okay. It should be very real and it should be very you and unique to you. The components of a strong brand are visual identity. So logo, color, style, of course, that just helps us to be more recognizable and have that loyalty and mind share at the end of the day. Your brand voice, your unique style of communication, your core values, what you stand for, and your unique selling proposition and what sets you apart, right? Our market is so saturated. We have so many agents. What sets you apart from the next, right? If you're a brand new agent, right? Why would someone work with you rather than someone else? You really have to hone into what makes you special and why someone should choose you over the next person. Okay. And there's reasons, right? If you are, at first like, wait, there is no clear reason why anyone should work with me rather than, the next. That's totally wrong. You just haven't focused yet on your strengths and honed into that. So don't get discouraged, okay? Why is your brand important? These are some key reasons why your brand is so important. Identity and differentiation. Again, creating that consistent identity where people can, see that logo, see that color scheme, right? And it's like, oh, I've seen that before, right? It's just kind of that repeat identity, right? If you go door knocking, people recognize your face after a while, right? They're going to recognize you. Think of your identity and like the visual aspect of your brand, the face of your brand, right? People, it needs to be recognized. Expertise and authority. So where are you? Like, what makes you the authority in that niche, right? If you're working with first-time home buyers, right? You need to, if that's your niche, you need to be an expert and you need to be the authority in that, specific area. Increased visibility and reach. Again, it kind of goes hand in hand with identity, trust and connection. If you are being who you are and communicating in the way that you communicate, right, you're going to attract the people who work best with people like you, right, who work best with people in your circle, and you can build those long lasting relationships. And then loyalty and mind share. Again, loyalty, like if they have that relationship with you, if they see you for who you are and it's very, authentic in that way, you're going to have that customer loyalty, more referrals, right? That's all very important. And then mind share as well. Okay, so SWOT analysis. Are you guys familiar with SWOT analysis? Have you ever done this before? Okay, so SWOT analysis is done in business, but also with your brand, and it goes over your strengths, weaknesses, threats, and opportunities. And this is just kind of something that you can map out, right, on your end, and write down your strengths, your weaknesses, your threats, and opportunities. So strengths could be a plethora of things, right? Maybe you have a strong community of people in your life, right? You have really deep relationships. You've lived here for a really long time and you just know a lot of people, right? That would be a strength. Another strength would be maybe you are in coming from like an insurance background, right? You have expertise in insurance, right? Or like different expertises in different areas from your previous field, or if you're currently working in that field as well, that you can bring in. Christina, who's in our office, she goes between Texas and California, right? So that's a strength for her. She knows a lot about these two markets, and a lot of people here are moving over there. So she could use that as a strength, right? Weaknesses would be maybe you're a new agent and you don't yet have any closings, right? Or experiences to tie back to when someone asks you, right? Maybe that's just a gap, or maybe market knowledge. Maybe you're not that familiar yet. Um, or you're newer here, you don't know that many people, right? So you can kind of jot down any weaknesses that you see in your business. And then threats. The NAR lawsuit, right, for buyer commission, that would be a threat. This is like industry or economic downturns, regularity changes, right? Mapping out your threats, and then opportunities. So what could be something that you take advantage of, like new technologies, right? New trends in the market, just play something that you can take advantage of. Okay. Can you guys all map this out? And you can just brainstorm, you know, right now, like your strengths, weaknesses, threats, and opportunities. Um, and then kind of dive deeper after the class. Okay. So list your strengths, identify what you do well, your unique skills, and any advantages you have over your competition. Um, Like maybe have kids in school, right? And you are great at, I just saw Eric's baby. Sorry, I got distracted. Maybe you're fantastic at, networking. Hi. Maybe you're sorry. Maybe you're fantastic at um, networking with the people in the school, right? Maybe you have a lot of relationships, new relationships. Maybe that's a strength, right? Any strengths, write that down. Okay. And that can also just be deeper inside, right? Maybe you're just really direct. Maybe you're really great at negotiation, right? Whatever that really drives you really authentically, you don't have to think too much about it. It's just what you're good at and why you wanted to become a realtor, right? So that should be quite easy to map down a few. I can name a few just knowing you guys. And then advantage or acknowledge your weaknesses. So be honest about the areas. Maybe you are a little bit shy when talking to people and you don't really know your scripts quite yet, right? Or maybe, like I said, like maybe you're new to the area, you don't know anyone, right? So acknowledge where, like, what are some areas that like you could improve in, or you're just like not tech savvy or something like that, right? Identify opportunities. So look for trends or technologies or networking opportunities that could benefit your business. Say if you have kids in school, right? What are some opportunities that you can do? Maybe you can sponsor the school, right? Maybe you can, have, like work with a bookstore, right? And work with like a local business. Just opportunities there that could benefit your business that go hand in hand with your strengths. And then recognizing your threats. So, and I understand the external factors that could pose challenges to your success. Okay. Strategic planning, use your SWOT analysis to set your goals, develop your unique value proposition, and refine your personal branding strategy. Your marketing strategy would be tailoring your marketing efforts to leverage your strengths, address your weaknesses, and capitalize on opportunities. Does anyone want to share your kind of what you're coming up with for your strengths or your like unique identity? Don't be shy. It's okay.
Here you
No,
go. I
sorry.
will go.
Okay,
Dead silent.
thank you.
Didn't do much brainstorming, but I'm very detail oriented
Okay.
uh, and very picky myself. So, I feel like I can understand what the buyers are looking for and just, get them exactly what they're looking for. I'm very picky. Like when I'm looking for houses, I don't just put them on the automated what do you call it? The CRMs that sends them automatic like listings that matches their search. No, I do hand pick everything for them and I look at the details and make sure it's a perfect match for them. So that's one of my strengths.
That's fantastic. I love that. Um, Yeah, that because that goes into service too, right? It's like that expert service, total detail oriented, right? And that kind of one-on-one, you're giving it your all, right? You have that high level, right? Of high standards, right? Um, that's what it sounds like to me, right? Uh,
Yes.
high expectation, high standards. That's fantastic. I love that. Anyone else?
I can say one. I've personally bought, sold, built homes, have rental properties, and so I understand how frustrating buying and selling can be. And so I feel like I come to it with a really strong background in that because I've done it for a very long time, not as an agent, just as personally the buyer, the seller, the builder.
Yeah.
So I feel like that helps to be able to understand where someone's coming from when they're frustrated with the process or not understanding how difficult it can be.
Right. Yeah. Addressing their concerns, right? You can say, I've been in your shoes, right? I want to make this process as simple as possible and really hone in on that, right? Addressing the
Right.
concerns or answering, questions or anything like that on social media. I know you're posting a lot of video on social media, Erin.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
awesome. That's great.
Thank you.
Awesome. Yeah, I think all of that is really important. And then using kind of that identity that is authentic to you, right? It just comes naturally. You're going to be attracting people who appreciate that. That's the people you want to work with, right? And then using your marketing in a way that is strategic for that, right? Erin, yeah, like your video, kind of answering those questions or confronting those concerns before, right? So the people who may
Right.
be really nervous or anything like that, they find that comfort and that safety in you. And you just know that organically. You like to talk about that organically, so that's kind of where, you can kind of find that nice happy point. That's great. Okay, so identifying again your strengths and skills. Are you great at negotiation, marketing properties, or providing in-depth market analysis? Right? If you are someone who is maybe you're quieter, more analytical, really into numbers, don't feel like you need to be, in everyone's faces and, just like upbeat and chipper, right? If that's not you. If you're a numbers person, dive into the numbers, do a really awesome, amazing, market report every month, and provide them with that information, because then you're going to attract those people who share that same mindset as you, who are more analytical and who want to work with you, right? And it goes in so many different ways too. If you identify a recurring need among your clients that aligns with your interests, consider developing specialized knowledge or skills in that area, right? Say you are someone and your parents are kind of getting to the age of, they're older, right? And your friends, their parents are older, people in your circle, they're passing away or just needing to, you know, sell their homes and go to a home, or whatever the situation might be. Maybe you see that, you recognize that, and you have a strong sense of empathy for that situation. You're familiar and you want to become a real estate planner, right? That could be a very specific niche that speaks to you. You're already good at speaking to multi-generations, right? So kind of thinking, what are you good at? And then utilizing where are you needed in the market and talking to those clients. Okay. You can tailor your services and get more education in the areas that fit you and fit what you want to do in your real estate business. And then understanding your target market. Okay, I understand this can be kind of like you're putting people in boxes, right? And ideally, as an agent, you want to serve everybody, right? It goes hand in hand with your brand and staying really, really authentic to who you are. You might push some people away, right? If you're really loud and you're, really just out there and chit chat, you might be pushing some people away who are like, she's crazy, right? Who cares? When you're talking to people or when you're being yourself, you want to attract the people who want to work with you. And if you're trying to just appease everybody, you're going to just be average, right? You're not going to be speaking to the people who would really love you very loudly, right? So you need to understand, who are you talking to? Who is your target market? Of course, always accept everybody, right? We're not trying to like not accept people, but you should know who your target market is, who's your most likely to work with client. So you can talk to them and you can reach them with your marketing efforts, with your communication style, and so forth. It is really important to, look at the different market segments. So first-time home buyers, investors, sellers, their needs and wants. So how to identify what your target market values most. If they're first-time home buyers, maybe they really value that education. Maybe they're concerned about XYZ. Maybe they're concerned about prices, right? It's really expensive in this area, especially if you're a first-time home buyer. But knowing who you're talking to so you can tailor your communication to them. So a first-time home buyer, we'll just kind of play with a couple different ideas. First-time home buyer, let's say their age is 25 to 35, okay? Young couples or families, the millennial generation, they use social media, right? Text message, social and community events, sports, schools. If they have young families, they're more progressive usually in their new ideas, culture, art, and morals, a more relatable, laid back communication style. So if you like just be upfront, direct, you want to, work with first time home buyers, I wouldn't hold back in any of that. You might want to be on social media, right? That's where they spend most of their time. versus if you're trying to reach an older, you know, for the real estate planning, maybe they're not on social media as much. You have to know where your target client is, what you're communicating to them, and how to reach them, right? Luxury, say if they're luxury, $6 million homes, you know, Los Altos, they're age 40 to 55, they're professionals, right? They must work quite a bit or have, you know, some pretty nice paying job. Gen X, they maybe are on email and phone more, networking, exclusive events, country clubs, high standards, expectations. They want that white glove experience, right? Yeah, they might be on social media as well, but they might prefer to get their real estate information in a more, you know, tailored way to specifically them, to specifically their area, right? They might be more traditional. They really focus on service, reliability, reputation. So there you can, you know, we are kind of putting people in boxes. You kind of have to when you're looking at your target client. Okay. Does that make sense to everybody? Okay.
Yes.
All right. And then, you know, looking at their priorities, like honing in on what do they find most important aspect to this generation? Communication, where are you going to find them? Right? Reach, what do they prefer? Um, Again, socioeconomic status, right? Location, what are they doing on the weekends? So quick activity, write down 3 words you want associated with your real estate brand. Then share your words and why you chose them. I want everyone to participate in this. Oh, we have 16 people on the call. That's great. I didn't realize. And again, with these 3 words, they could be, you know, your skills. They can also just be who you are, right? Your personal relationships, like, you know, what you do, what you enjoy, your love for sports, right? Just 3 words that really capture who you are. Yeah. And then whenever you guys have those, you can start shouting them out.
Integrity, honesty, and commitment.
I love that. Anyone else? And these aren't concrete. This is just brainstorming 3 words. Oh, you guys are sleepy.
Honesty,
Say that-
honesty, empathy.
what was that third one, Smarty?
Third one, I'm still thinking, Kelsey.
Oh, you're good. You're good. All right. Well, I want you guys to keep thinking about this. And remember, it can be, you know, your morals and what you stand for. It can be your interests, right? It can be your communication style, your love for social media, your love for TikTok, right? It could be whatever you want it to be. There are no wrong answers. Just make sure the biggest point is just to make sure that they're authentic to you so you don't have to think about it, right? It really should just be who you are. You can create you know, a brand identity that is just more, you know, thought out and like kind of what you you know, aspire and or what you know, envision or anything like that. But you have to just stay authentic, right? Because that at the end of the day, that's just it's a relationship, right? Everyone's gonna, you know who you are. So let's take a look. Can you identify, this is fun, and this is not real estate. This is just other brands that I personally like the branding of. But can you identify what makes these brands strong and what impact do they have on you? I don't know why I can't read this. And what are some key aspects that stand out? Okay, so this is gonna just be looking at a couple brands and seeing how they're communicating visually, right, with their wording, and who you think they're trying to target. Okay. So the first one is one of my favorite brands, Everlane. This is a clothing company and they're all about sustainability, okay? Transparency, sustainability, etc. So in visually, right, they're into classics. So clothes do not go to waste, okay? They're also into transparency, showing where exactly all the materials, hardware, labor, duties, transport, what it all costs, right? Traditional retail versus their retail, all of it, right? So through different levels in their company, right, in the business, they're staying true to their brand. They're staying true to their ethics, right? And then of course, across everything, visually, it's very consistent as well. Okay. This is another one, Casper. So we're bringing joy to a tired industry, right? This is mattresses. Mattress shopping, I don't know, like if you go to Mancini Sleep World, it's pretty boring, I would think. I haven't been there, but it seems boring. We're setting a new standard in sleep innovation, right? It's very new, right? At the end of the day, we give a sheet, right? It's kind of tongue in cheek, new. They're talking to a younger generation of young adults, right? Who don't want to go to Mancini Sleep World. We want a box, our cool mattress tied up in a little tiny thing in a box and, making witty jokes, so their whole branding, their identity is much different, right? They're trying to stand out from the competition. Who knows if their mattresses are better, but they recycle and, they seem more fun. They use confetti. It's just a little bit more appealing, right? And you trust them, right? They're in-store recycling, they're hands-on help. They really give sheets to those in need, right? So you're like, oh, well, of course, I'm gonna probably buy a Casper mattress over a Mancini Sleep World box spring. So it's just different ways to communicate, and that will help, set you apart, and then also get people to be like, oh, well, heck yeah, I'm going to work with them, right? Yeah. I also want to go back also to, I was thinking earlier today, Vinicius Brazil, right? Are you guys all familiar with that Santa Clara real estate guy in Cupertino? So with Vinicius, right? He markets himself as Santa Clara, okay? The authority in Santa Clara. He is the person to go to. He knows the ins and the outs. He kind of probably, he doesn't shove away, but like in terms of using that Santa Clara real estate guy, he's not necessarily selling himself to someone who wants to buy a house in Palo Alto, right? He's not being for everybody. It's not about being for everybody. It's about being the authority in the market, right, in which you're serving. So he is branding himself as a Santa Clara real estate guy. Would someone who's buying a house in Santa Clara or selling their house in Santa Clara prefer Joe Schmo at Compass or that Santa Clara real estate guy, right? If they're looking at two people that they don't already know, probably that Santa Clara real estate guy. He knows everything, right? That's his niche, and he is educated and well versed in all of that. So that's also a really, really good point if you want to look more into real estate. And it's okay to be who you are and to form a niche. That's not going to be ideal for every single person. You just, have to know your target, who your audience is, and who your desired client is. Does anyone have questions on that? No. Okay. Okay, and then visual, this one is the fun part, even more fun. So what are some keywords to summarize the way you want your brand to be visually perceived? This should go hand in hand, right, with your strengths and your identity and your niche or everything that you're building in terms of how your business operates and runs and why they would pick you. But then creating the visual side of it as well is really important. Okay. So if you are, really say fun, family oriented, etc. Maybe you want orange, right? Or maybe if you're luxury, you want black or gold, right? Creating your visual identity and keeping that consistent is really, really important as well. But it really is just about consistency. It doesn't have to be like a work of art, right? Just keeping it consistent. It's giving your personality a face, right? So think of your strengths, your niche, all of that is your personality, and then the visual is the face. So like I mentioned earlier, when you're walking around and you're door knocking, right? They see you, they recognize you, but you can't always just be walking around your neighborhood door knocking. So putting, giving your materials the same very consistent messaging, colors, etc. It's giving that face to your brand. Brand colors, I would recommend just for ease of consistency and use, not to think too much. Like we can do a whole color palette and all of that, but that might just be a little bit more challenging to maintain. And really, consistency in maintaining this is important. So, brand colors, I would just pick 1 or 2 colors. And just, make sure it's consistent. Use the hex color dropper, or I can help you with that as well in Canva. Just so you have that exact same color every single time. And then font, choosing 1 or 2 fonts. I usually like to do like a heading font and then a body font, and just using that consistently as well. It will make it easier for you for all your marketing materials anyway, but then it will just create that consistency. And again, I feel like I've said consistency a lot now. I'm starting to not know the word in my brain. But consistency is key. So your brand is your promise to your clients. When you use the same messages and visuals everywhere, from your website to social media to flyers, people will remember you. It makes you look professional, it builds trust, and helps potential clients recall your brand when they need real estate services. Okay, and then this is how to put it into action. Define your brand identity. We already talked a lot about that, but really make sure you're spending time with that SWOT analysis and with, really honing in on just different levels of your brand, and then audit your current marketing materials. So look at everything that you have already, right? Your website, Google yourself and see what comes up. Look at your social media, et cetera. Just make sure everything is consistent visually and then also with messaging. And then update any inconsistent materials. Of course, I'm always here to help you with that as well. Yeah. And then plan your content strategy. Okay, this one is really fun. So I, as you probably know, I use AI a lot for everything. If you have, or when you have your brand, I want you to send it over to me. It could be whatever. Send me an email of your brand, basically your strengths, your communication style, what sets you apart. It could be even just like a list item. Send me what it is, and we'll kind of go back and forth until we kind of, hone it in and make sure it's reflective of everything. And then we can actually put it in AI and it will spit out a whole marketing strategy that is relevant to your brand. I'm going to use my mom, for example. She has her puppy pit stop, right? I put in, tell me a marketing strategy for a realtor with a puppy pit stop. It spits out a whole list of ideas that are in line with that brand, right? Content, partnerships, right? All of it. So we could do that with yours as well. Take it with a grain of salt. We can kind of pick through it all, but that's a really, really great way to just come up with some awesome ideas for your content strategy as well. And then train your team. So if you do have a team, make sure everyone's on board. Everyone knows exactly your brand guidelines, your fonts, your colors, what you're trying to communicate, your niche. And then monitor and adapt. So regularly review your marketing materials, make sure everything is staying consistent. It's not just something that you set it and forget it, right? It's something that you live, right? You live your brand with your business. Okay. And that's it. So after all of this, if you guys have any questions, let me know. But like I said, I would love for you to email me your personal brand ideas. I know a lot of you, I know a lot of your guys' strengths and like areas that you can kind of capitalize on. And then we can brainstorm and spit out some amazing ideas to just kind of get the ball rolling for your specific niche. Okay. I know we have some things in the chat. Okay, cool. Great. Anyone have any questions?
Kelsey, you're very good as usual.
Oh, Smriti, you're so sweet.
Yes.
Yes, Kelsey, it was really good. Thank
Uh,
you.
Thank you, Sarah Jeannie.
And you
Anyone?
did an amazing job with my branding.
Oh, you're sweet. I love your branding. I think it's so authentic to you, Erin.
Thank you. I love it.
Right. Anyone have questions? If not, don't